So the idea for the piece came when I was in like one of the biggest cave systems in Europe, in Slovenia, and for me it was very magically to explore this.
You visit this cave?
Yes.
Okay.
So I visited this cave system, and yeah, it was really interesting for me to think more about this process of, I mean, it's water drops that go through many surfaces, and they are many meters under the water and end up building structures that continue for millions of years. So I wanted to think more about this process of a small water drop and his journey, let's say, and yeah, all the sounds and also the text that I use and the visual moments are all inspired from this process, and yeah, the sounds in caves or sounds how stalagmites and stalactites are built. And it's not that I want to translate the sounds, just it's a starting point, and then I search for interesting sounds, how I can develop this material and these ideas where I'm starting. In one moment there's like the question in the text, does time that you hear pass more slowly? So for me, when I hear a clock or something dripping or something like that, time is very, you can like hear the time, let's say, or metronome or something like very static movement. And yeah, for me it was interesting to connect this idea of a structure that is growing for millions of years, but at the same time is very fast, kind of dripping water sounds, but it grows very small for millions of years. So when you see that and you are aware of how long it takes to become a very small structure, yeah, for me it makes me very aware of the time in that moment. I really liked to work with them because they were really trying to understand the ideas, and we were searching for solutions together and developing the ideas together. So for me, when I give a score, is like one step, but then the collaboration is a very important moment, of course, and that's the moment where the piece actually is, yeah, coming to life. So it was a really nice exchange, and yeah, we shared nice ideas together. I'm still finishing my master's in Linz with Carola Bauchold, but I'm now moving back to Germany in Darmstadt. So some are connected to Linz. For example, we will have a project with Schlagquartett Köln, is a percussion quartet, and we will start to collaborate now the next weeks. And also I will go to Mexico next year, and with a friend from there we are doing like an exchange between Austria and Mexico, and we will meet in Mexico, so 2 composers, 2 flutists, maybe a dancer, maybe 1 or 2 more instruments, and yeah, create new pieces together and make concerts in Mexico and also in Austria. For me it's always really interesting to think about sound, movement, light, so like all this interdisciplinary levels together. Especially in the moment I'm really curious about developing more ideas of how gestures that are immanent in the playing of an instrument, how I could take some gestures and transform it to movements and also connect to different visual layers, and how to find interesting connections between these situations and movements that are there in every concert from many, many years, and how to make more aware and develop these movements and visual elements. So for example, maybe what I can say more about the piece, Gently Crawling Water Drops Never Die. There are some moments where the cello player, she has a flashlight and is holding it like a bow. And then she has different actions with this flashlight. For example, like really kind of bowing with it, or other movements on the cello. And there the idea was to somehow take this gesture of cello playing and how to make it visible. And here I decided to show it with light, because then we see how the light is moving, and it makes aware of this moment of playing the bow of a cello. So I want to continue in this direction. There's also different modes of observing in this piece. Because for me it's also too important to think about this moment of being an audience. Like, okay, I'm sitting there and observing, but how can I compose also with this moment of being an audience? And in this piece it starts that the cello player is sitting with her cello, and the two other instrumentalists, so the clarinet player and percussion player, they just watch her. So in this moment they are also kind of part of the audience, and then slowly they start to interact with her, but first they are the observers of her. And later in the piece the percussion and clarinet player, there is a part all are playing the instruments, but later they go also into the audience and start to point with flashlights on some audience members. So the audience is like transformed from being only the passive observer. Now they are being observed. So they become kind of part of the cave that is being observed.